Will you unmute?
Oh, there. Thank you for that reminder, Nicole. Got everybody in the internet world can hear us. Hello, internet world. All right, we're gonna get started. First off, you gotta meet somebody new. So if you're online, you gotta send a direct message to two people you don't know. Everyone in here, you have 1 minute to meet two people you don't know. Ready, timer goes now.
Maybe get a couple of those in on that, and start talking about that communities where perhaps people can support it.
Like if I can get it orchestrated with all the chance to go, would you be willing to be on a panel?
Yeah.
So we have a really hard time finding people.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow, this is so weird.
Yes. Okay, so every week we talk about one of our MVVPs. This time we're talking about our vision and something else. What is our vision?
To be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers, but I prefer the word clients.
I like clients too. Client means you have an agreement with them and you're representing them. Customer just means they're doing the quickie mart stuff.
That's a very brokerish thing to say.
I know. Thank goodness I'm not a broker though. And my favorite thing, our values. What are our values?
God, family, and then business, which you'll see around the market.
Exactly. And so every week we do have a culture winner. That's part of our God, family, then business. So we really like to focus on people who are doing great things. Last week, and actually before we do this,
Yeah.
Can you tell them what Barry Beller is?
So we were at Mega Leadership, which is like mega camp for leadership a couple of months ago. And they came out with this buffalo, stuffed buffalo. And when we were on stage, Mark King, I think, called it a hedgehog. So it's kind of funny. So it's a funny joke. But we brought it back, and we as a leadership team now have our own Steffes style award that we pass around every week. And it's a buffalo, but we call it, since it's a buffalo, we call it Barry Beller.
Like Keller?
Yeah, it's just a weird joke that, you know.
It's funny you wouldn't have.
Yeah, we're strange. Yeah. And so every Monday when we have our team meeting, we like to pass it around and say who our cultural winner is for the week, or who we think on our team went above and beyond the week before.
And so who won this last week?
So this last week I had the honor to pass it to Nicole for our Barry Beller Award. The reason being, I think the really cool thing about KW is we have the resources and tools to support our agents at a higher level. So for instance, I was at a board meeting because I'm part of the Ambassador Council with Chris Locke, Cassie, and Andy Simmons. And they were talking about how do we help our agents with tech? And they were like, do we start having agents come in and do tech time, all of that? And they were asking us for feedback. And I said, well, we're really fortunate because we have Nicole, who's a rock star that will sit down with our agents, 16 appointments a month for consultations for tech, anything KW commands. So I pass it on to Nicole for just a rock star job that she's been doing.
Yep. So we just thought it was kind of cool that she got it this week.
Mhm.
And then so our normal culture award last week, Jocelyn won last week, and whoever wins the week before gets to nominate somebody new. And it says TBD.
Oh, man,
You know
you messed
why?
up. You forgot to put it on the slides.
Yeah, because I knew the person sitting right there could see the slide, because the winner this week is
Oh.
Nicole. Caitlin said, I would like to nominate Nicole for being super sweet to everyone, always very cheerful and wholesome. Wholesome. So normally we text the person that's not here, but you can see her right there. Oh, she's tearing up. She's so
This is gonna
excited.
rival her 30th birthday. When she turned 30, she got engaged. She won $500 from a blogger, and she got, I forget what else Chris got her. So now she's been Barry Beller Award and the Steffes Award
I
in 1
mean,
week.
it's
My goodness.
amazing.
Maybe
So,
she'll win some money from a blogger again now.
yeah, so that's why we purposely didn't put her name on there, so she wouldn't know ahead of time. So congratulations, Nicole. We're so proud of you. Also culture things. You want to talk about what Liliana's going through?
Yeah, so those of you that may not have heard, Liliana Owen, they found a 1.5-inch tumor on the back of her head a couple months ago. Thankfully, her daughter is a doctor down in Dallas, and her appointment here in Springfield wasn't going to be till September or August. So her daughter brought her down to Dallas and was able to get her in. She had surgery 2 weeks ago to get the whole thing removed. We still don't know if it's cancerous or not, but it's a very extensive road of recovery. She is home. If you send her well wishes, it'll probably take a couple days before she responds. But it's the kind of surgery that she has to learn to like swallow again when she's drinking water, things like that. So it's very extensive. Yes, Kim?
I talked to her last night. She says she's learning.
Speak up. I can't hear you.
She's learning to walk again
Okay.
and other things as well.
Yeah, so, thank you. So it's a very long road to recovery. We've been very fortunate because of all of you to be able to give her Springfield Cares money to support that. But from conversation, it's just, she needs all the support she can get. She's on a very strict diet, so we can't do a meal train. So we thought we would shoot a video of saying, we miss you and we hope you feel better, and we'd send it to her in hopes to increase her spirits. So, do we want to shoot that video now?
Let's do it right now.
Okay, cool. So we are all gonna stand up. You wanna, here, I can turn it this way. Okay, so we're gonna stand up. And then we are all going, we just wanna say we miss you. We don't wanna overcomplicate it, you
I
know?
know. We should have rehearsed.
Yeah.
Write it on the board.
We miss you. We miss you.
Why don't you say, hey, we miss you, we love you, then everybody can cheer for it.
Okay, no pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, as I'm shaking.
Yeah.
So, too much coffee.
You got it, Rachel?
Thank you. Okay. Hi, Liliana. We just want to send you well wishes. Your family here at Springfield, we miss and we love you so much, and we hope you have a quick and long, hopeful, short trip for recovery. So everybody here at team meeting, what do we want to say?
Thank you.
Actually, it's just one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what? Productivity is also a sign of culture, because if we aren't producing and doing well, we cannot fund lives and help other people. So we have some regional awards that we'd like to recognize with people
Yeah.
today.
So we have received our regional awards from KW. So we are in the Greater Heartland, which covers Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Iowa, and a little bit of Nebraska.
Yep.
And so we received our awards from last year. So our Market Center received number 2 in owner profit earned for 2022. Our offices, we received number 3 in profit share given back to our agents for the entire year. We actually have, okay, again, very fortunate to be in our Market Center. We have 2 Gary Top 100 teams, and they also received awards out of the entire teams in our region. So, first, Grady Real Estate was number 1 in our entire region for GCI in closed units. So very exciting.
You guys turn towards the camera.
Yeah.
No, this camera.
Well, that camera too. Why
No,
not?
no, but camera 1, camera 2.
Might as well. And then the others is Holt Homes Group. They were number 2 in closed units and number 3 in GCI earned for 2022. So congratulations. You wanna come get them? So
Only if
very,
Dan stands up. Let's go, Daniel.
I'm meeting, sorry.
so for the camera
Camera 1, camera 2.
Number 2.
and that camera too. I'm sorry, I had too much coffee. Woo, it's exciting, okay?
So congratulations to both our groups and everybody in general. Okay, we have to recognize our vendors and our affiliates in here. Who do we have? Raise your hand, say hi real quick, tell us who you
Start with
are.
Christina, and we'll go around.
Hi, I'm Christina Ferrante with 417 Home Loans. I'm your lending lady for life.
Short and sweet. Stacy?
Legal land title, just across the parking lot. We can help you with all your closing needs. We also do construction disbursement as well.
Awesome. George? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Chrissy, I didn't see you.
My bad.
No, go ahead and stand up again.
You're hidden behind George.
George Rockman with the Choice Home Warranty, where we give your clients the power to choose.
Casey Cooper.
Casey Cooper with Summit Lending, always have your best interest.
I'm sorry. Mic drop. Okay, welcome, Casey from Summit Lending. Oh yes, community mortgage.
Serge Coleman, Community Mortgage Brokers. I think we're newest to your guys' team, but excited to be here and happy to help.
Thanks for being here, Serge. Awesome.
Anybody else? Anybody online?
No, I don't think so.
All right, one of the benefits of having them come to team meetings is you can talk with them afterwards. They're here to help you and help your clients, so make sure you do that. Broker moment. Jim, what do you have for us today?
Well, I got my assistant with me.
Yay!
This is William. Anything we need to talk about regarding real estate? We're good.
All right.
Just a reminder, we'll be bringing out more information in terms of fictitious name and marketing, once we get all of that from the MREC and the board.
Yep.
So we're doing a fictitious name audit right now, so if you receive a confirmation or a call from us, let us know.
Do we have anything going on in June?
No.
Nothing
It's-
at all.
No.
Look at this calendar. This is insane how much good stuff we have going on. So, number one, let's introduce Mike Dooley real quick.
Yeah. Mike's gonna come up. We're gonna be able to kind of talk with him, learn more about him, and then his class will be in this room at 11 a.m. So please make sure you stay for that. It's gonna
And
be
so you see a
powerful.
lot of things on here. We have these calendars up at the front if you need one, or we have the digital version of it. Notice next week, Market Center is closed for Juneteenth, so there's no checks processed that day, correct?
The banks are closed.
Banks are closed too now, so everything's closed on there. A lot of these we have individual slides for, so let's jump to those. First off, KW Military. If you want to be a KW Military Market Center representative, there is some info, and Brian sent this to us. They are needing more people in the military division. So if you've not looked into this, we have some links. I think I sent them to, sorry. I think I sent those to Nicole to send the links out for the internet world. Everybody else will get these to you, but there is a whole military community. And this is kind of cool too. There are what's called KW communities and affinity groups.
Hold on. Dayton, you're unmuted. Dayton, Nicole, will you mute Dayton, please? Thank you.
So this is some of the affinity groups, and there's a QR code because it keeps getting added and added. So these are going to go up around the market center, but there are also communities like Sports Plus Entertainment, Luxury, military, all these different
New
things.
homes.
New homes. There is a group for you somewhere in KW, so make sure you're joining these things. Also, save the dates. Here we go. Lots of stuff going on. First off, what's new at the market center? Paulina, are you in here?
No, she, right after team meeting, she is doing book club. We are covering Atomic Habits, chapter 1. So if you want to join, you can still join us after team meeting. So it'll be from right after we get done till right up to Mike's class.
Yep. Last week, Elise had to postpone her class, so we'll be coming. She's doing this like.
She's teaching at other market centers, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to get her back on the calendar to talk about it.
Yep, so we'll definitely get that going.
Mhm.
There we go. Today is Mike Dooley. This is the professional series. June is so cool because we got a different set of professionals each team meeting. We're on week 2. Next week we have Ask an Attorney and then an appraiser panel. So every week during June, we have something for you to add value to your business and your clients. Do not call people you're not supposed to. Do not get sued. Look at that. Really noted.
Yes.
That was mine. I had to do that for you. So we'll get more info from Mike here in a little bit, then he'll have his class a little bit later this morning too. Tomorrow, Susan Heron is teaching the luxury approach. How many of you would like to sell luxury homes? Okay, they're bigger checks. It's good. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to talk luxury. So she's got a class tomorrow. It's going to talk about how to show a home. Susan, what do you want to tell us about it?
This basic, really luxury introduction is where I want to start, and then we'll get into some other things. But eventually we'll have a tour. So we're going to go and look at some high-end homes and kind of talk about finishes and what's different about them and what's the same about them, really. So
I love what you said in ALC, that not every luxury home is not to mean it's bougie. Right. So how do you talk to like that with your clients? It's really cool.
a lot about how to relate to clients and things like that too.
Awesome.
And luxury buyers are just buyers like anybody else. You just got to make sure you're communicating the right way. So that's going to be a great class. We're excited to have that. Did you all know if you have a luxury listing, which is over $700,000, we have luxury signage you get to use. So make sure as you're getting those, that you use that, and it gets syndicated to the Wall Street Journal. So use that when you're marketing, and we'll talk about that more at the class too. All right, June 15th. You know,
Ew.
I put a black outline here because I don't like this date. Quarterly taxes are due June 15th. Just a reminder, so you pay those in time. Those of you that pay those. Juneteenth, Market Center will be closed.
Yep.
Okay. And this
Agent
is a-
financials.
Yeah.
So next week, Michelle McBride, who's an area director out of the Pennsylvania region, will be teaching agent financials in Kansas City. They've changed the class, so it says 9 to 4, but they've changed it so it actually starts at 10 to allow everybody a chance just to drive up in the morning, so you don't have to spend the night on a hotel room. It is $50 to attend, but it includes lunch. And Michelle is one that she used to be a former MCA. She teaches market center financials. And so for those of you that have met with Landon of how do I get in line with the MREA for my P&L, this would be a perfect class for you to attend. And it's going to be all day. And also a benefit of that is you get to meet other people from our region to create those connections and future referral partners as well.
How many of you do real estate just for hobby? You don't care if you make money on it? How many of you would like to run it as a business and make it a financial benefit for you?
How many of us look at our P&L?
How many of you can't spell
Double
P&L?
P&L also means profit and loss. I mean.
Exactly. So this is a great way to get you started. You can road trip up, because it starts at 10. It's a 2.5 hour drive, 2 hours, 20 minutes if I'm driving.
Yeah, if Mike's driving, just hold
I
on.
got to swim really quick the other day, but it's gonna be a great thing. And so what you can do is you can meet with some people the night before at Pineapple Whip.
Yeah.
I put these in the reverse order for some reason.
Okay.
So we have what's called our summer opener.
So Pineapple Whip will be here, please RSVP, so we can tell them how many whips to expect to make. We will have adult mix-ins as well, so if you want to add a little Tito's or a little Malibu, you can. And then Mike is also in a band, so his drummer in his band is gonna come and play the steel drums, so.
Yeah, man, it'd be good music for you. It will be good. So it's a good night. You can decide who's had too much Pineapple Whip and somebody else can drive to the
There you go.
Agent Financial the next day. And top 20%.
So Josh is going to, he's teaching Ignite that morning and then gonna hold a top 20% mastermind here. June 28th at 3 o'clock, it will be down in the training center. So please come and attend, be a part of the conversation. And then we're looking at July, moving forward to having them offsite again like we used to have.
So just a few things going on in June. Save the dates, mark the calendar, and then comes August.
Oh. How many of you are going to Mega Camp this year? Awesome. Tim Tebow, if you are a MAPS client, will be speaking at a Mastery client event. However, if you're not a MAPS client, they still have guest passes available. They have reduced the amount of tickets they are going to sell, 7,000 max. And so if you're thinking about going, now is the time to sign up because they will sell out and they're expecting to sell out way before August. So please get registered today. Mike has created full itineraries.
Actually, Haley did.
Okay, with Haley, yep, with flights information on
Yeah,
there and
so-
what to expect.
So here's the itinerary. Basically, it starts Monday that evening. We have found that there's a flight leaving Springfield around, I think it's 10 o'clock that day, 10:47, gets you there in time for the welcome party. It will get you back Wednesday around 6:30. So we're talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're missing 2.5 days of work. The flight, when we looked it up, was $478. And here's the whole itinerary. Like we said, the Tim Tebow thing is gonna be amazing. Yes, ma'am.
I have a huge vehicle and it's just Denise and I in the vehicle right now. If anybody wants to drive, it's only 9 hours, maybe 10 with stops. And I can take probably 4 more people.
Guaranteed a good time.
Guaranteed a good time.
And what's
And we're leaving on the 14th and we will come back on the 17th because Mega Camp ends later in the afternoon on.
And that's really good to point out. On the last day of Mega Camp, they are doing an IALC meeting. So just like market centers, they have an International Associate Leadership Council. And this IALC meeting will be a pretty interesting one to be a part of because there's 3 proposals that are coming out that we'll find more information out hopefully next week to share.
Is Mega Camp just for KW agents?
No, anyone can go.
So if you know somebody somewhere else that really needs this because their business is down, we have these printed off. So you can take these to them, you can invite them to, they will have them get in touch with us. We may have a way to get them there special too. So, but the road trip with the delays at Dallas Airport, you will probably still beat the airplanes there.
Yes, that's why I'm driving.
Or
Exactly.
if you want, you can go to Kansas City and fly direct to Austin.
Yep, they're in the airport there.
Matt says it's faster to go down I-35 and I say it's faster to go down, is it 69 for Big Cabin? So.
Challenge accepted. 2 cars going to Mega Camp.
1,000 times. It's not even funny. Yeah.
But that's like a real, who says, well, I've been in this 40 years. Well, doesn't mean you've been doing it right for 40 years. Okay, slides from the board. There's not a whole lot. Continuing education is July 14th. So if you want to get ahead on that, that's coming up. Please look at joining as a leadership, as some of the director positions. Those are due by June 30th. This is home ownership month. Make sure you're putting that out as you're promoting things on your social medias. And quickly, Tech Time with Nicole, our
Hi.
Barry Beller winner and our culture winner.
Yep, I got Barry Beller, so I can't wait to have the Cephas Awards too. So thank you so much. Just to do a little plug before I get into this. Yes, I would love to help you guys. So if you are struggling in any aspect of your technology, please, please, please let me know. Come see me. I have time blocked off on my calendar every single week. And it's really fun just getting to see like you guys be just blown away by this technology. And you just have to learn it and get in there, and it's going to help your business in the long run. So that's all for that. But next, kind of pairing with the GSVOR. So they have an app that you can actually use. If we can get, do you have that slide?
Yes, there we go.
There we go. So they have an app that you can actually use, and it's a tech helpline for yourself. So this is if you are having computer issues or anything like that, then you can actually get this app and chat with somebody and get help for your tech needs. This is like outside of the actual KW technology. This is actually for technology that you personally own, kind of like a geek squad in that way.
We have a lot of agents come to us and say, hey, my computer's not working. Can you help me? And there's so many other questions we have. If you actually go to this, they will help you for free regardless of it. So the problem is we don't know what computer you bought, what spec, all of that can't even handle the operations that you're doing. So you can call them directly and they'll help you for free.
And Nicole, this isn't just GSVR apps. This is anything with your computer, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right, numbers from the week. We're seeing just a normal trend, just like the last couple of weeks going on. I like this slide. Actually, go back to here. So on GSVOR, we had 273 new listings yesterday. Last week, 231. So the number of listings is jumping up. Okay, the only space that stayed the same was East Counties was 42 and 42. But then compared to last year GSVR we had 270, or this year we have 273. Last year 382. So we're still 100 and some less. I can't do fast math. But here's the interesting thing. We're up to 1,093 listings. So that's our highest since January 30th. But look at last year. This week we were 943, then 973, then 1,094. It kept going up. Here we go, 1133. I'm curious to see if the trend keeps going up and if we pass last year, because we were shocked when we finally got over 1,000 last year. So we'll just see what happens, but you got to know this stuff as you're talking with your people. Okay. And we don't have a lore meeting this week or this June because there's so many different things we're doing for team meetings, but we do have numbers available for you if you need those things also. All right. And
Cool.
look who we're up to.
Yep. Let's push this and we'll.
Alrighty.
Who's this?
Let's give a big round of applause to Mike Dooley. Congratulations, Nicole.
That's great. I do want to give your two leaders a little bracelet, which is just kind of fun. You know, if you think bold, you think, so it says whatever it takes. Hopefully that's what I'm going to bring you today. All right.
Thank you.
So I know some of you saw, I don't have $100 million team. Don't worry, me either right now, right? So it's the market we're in. So we'll talk about it. And I don't know what you're.
Here, have a seat. Sit.
And you said class, who's planning on coming back? George, I know you're gonna be here. Thank you, excited. Okay, let's fill the room. Hopefully I give you one thing to 10x your business. How would that be to come back? And I'm very expensive to come, right? I'm free. Dan? I think you made me pay to come, didn't you?
You got no money. Yeah. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with KW and what your real estate business started with.
One of the first places that I ever spoke was actually here.
Was it
Which is
really?
pretty cool if you guys didn't know that.
I remember that. It was in our old building.
It
You
was.
talked about a maps coach. That was the first thing you hired.
I was looking for a vendor partner, and Dan and I met at Oak Star with Aaron. See, I remember that. We were in his office, cool office, and you did have cowboy boots on. And Wes Litton, I know he couldn't be here. He had a $19 million appointment or something. I don't know. So that's kind of what he told me, I guess. Right? But I know when he was here last time, hopefully I think the thing that I'll bring to you is just mindset. And when you think that, you hear that word, some people go, okay, I hear that all the time. But I just think for me is I failed 7 times today. Is that okay? I didn't help my wife this morning get her kids off to camp very well. You know, I was like, oh, I got to get here, you know? So be okay with failing, but I fail really fast and we'll cover that later. But that's just something that I've done that's helped me. and then really think big. You know, obviously did Bezos say, I'm gonna have the largest company in the world? He probably did and said, you know what, I'm gonna do this at some time in his career, and he does.
That's really cool.
So, you know, stat too, I tell someone, you're not gonna get many questions.
No, that's great. That's great. Love it.
Just kidding, but someone came in, they said, I'm 57. Am I gonna start in real estate? Am I too old? Think about this. If you didn't know, Starbucks, he was 62 when he started. KFC, I think he was 72 when he started. Somebody can fact check me, it's close. And then Walmart, you guys know a little small company where I live. He was 62 when he started that company. So think about when you're like, oh, I'm toward the end, or I'm changing careers, or I'm doing something differently. Everyone has that Insta story where you see that person, you're like, oh, they got 7 Lamborghinis. I'm just driving a Honda still, right? So that's, don't judge other people's, say it with me, right? Other people's outsides to your insides. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was the question? Did I
When did you
follow?
get into real
Yeah.
estate?
So I got in real estate in 2016, and you weren't 10 then. I have a 10-year-old, which is fun. You know, when you say God, family, business, I say that to myself about 3 times a day. You just need to, because we're dealing in a people business and service and life. And then my wife or I is like, oh, who's picking up our 10-year-old, our 6-year-old, who's on first? You have to remember what's important. And that's very hard to do in this business sometimes because you're getting pulled so many different ways. So 2016, so I launched Yankee Candle. Does anyone like Yankee Candle? I know nothing about candles, just so you know, but I launched Yankee Candle at Walmart globally. So I was the only person at Walmart selling candles to Walmart. So marketing, sales, logistics, all the different things. Think about our business. If you don't, that's what you do. You're kind of doing everything. So if you don't have an admin, you don't have a TC, you don't have an LM, you're doing it all. And I said, you know what? I'm making Yankee Candle millions and billions. I can do this myself. So I started as a real estate agent, like a lot of you, interviewed 5 brokerages. And I think that's important too. And I tell people, so I'm our OP in Northwest Arkansas. When people come to me, I don't just say, you got to be a Keller Williams only. People read right through that right away. And I really do. I say, well, what's important to you? What does it look like? If someone's like, hey, I'm going to do 2 deals at a time. Well, maybe what's our culture? And I heard you guys say it earlier, productivity. Well, maybe it's not a good fit for us. And just ask deeper questions. Is that fair? Because I just heard you guys were number 3 in the region in profit share. So I'm taking notes of this going, how do I beat you next year, right? But do you know also, and congrats to Dan and Adam, there's 7,000 agents in our region. That's a stat when you think about it. So that's some high level production right here in Springfield. You're not in Kansas City, you're not in St. Louis, you're in Springfield. So it's pretty cool to see that. But 2016.
Yeah.
And I actually, my wife was not cool with me leaving my corporate good paying job to start real estate. Who's been there? And here's what I said. I said, okay, I believe in myself. I'm going to bet on myself. So I started and worked both. I worked my full-time job and as a real estate agent. And I did 7 under contracts in July. And I said, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I can do it, you know? And then she said, wait till our baby is born. So then the next day I put in my 2 weeks notice. She said, let her be healthy, but just started. And I would think too, if just something I would tell them, I had a coach, you know, first of all, I was in Bold. Is Bold coming here?
August 22nd.
Okay, I think
Molly
we're gonna be around the
D'Amatos is
same
coming.
time. Can we negotiate together a good coach? Do you already have?
Molly D'Amatos is coming here.
Okay, great. So let's move piggyback on you. All right, just so I get them. But so I was not licensed and took Bold. So I just started letting it come in and just say, you know what, how do I do this? If this is gonna be my career in life, I just need to educate myself. Also, I got a MAPS coach before I was licensed. Think about that, you know, so I started looking at the Dans of the world, the Ben Kinney's and all them, what they have, coaches. So I said, well, I need that, you know, so I jumped right in. So David Hoffman was my coach. And he was in Gary's group originally, a pirate in expansion. And he was God Family Business. He lived that a lot. And I said, I want you to be my coach. And he said, dude, you don't even have your license yet. But I'll tell you, I was persistent. And I said, you will be my coach. I went to MAPS. I went to Bold. I called all of them, called anyone, everyone that would listen. I might even like message Gary. I don't know, you know, but if you do ever message Gary, he will respond. And it's not usually Teresa, which is cool. But and David finally was like, all right, I'll be your coach. And then started my coach. So my first year goal was 82.5 million. So think about that. I didn't know, you know, how many times do we go, hey, let's get you to cap.
Yep.
And we say that. So we're actually putting a limiting belief on you. So he didn't do that because I didn't know. I was in business. I was running $1 billion companies. So I was like, okay, 82 million sounds easy. but we hit about 47.6,
Wow.
which is still pretty awesome, right? You know?
Yeah.
But now I have to remember too, not me. I only sold, just so you know, I've only done about 6 transactions ever. So that's, if that's crazy for anybody. So I don't know how to do paperwork. I've never done paperwork and I never want to do paperwork, if that's fair. So when someone puts something, a contract in front of me, I'm like, wrong email address. Send it to Monica.
Please forward on.
So it's 2016, yeah,
Yeah.
and interactive, I guess, too, right? If they have questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we need the room. I only saw like 7 people hang out with me. So we're gonna go in the van. Is that what you have, a van down to Austin? We're gonna do the mastermind. We're gonna do the class in the van later.
You can join us in the Yukon.
I like it.
A little bit higher scale.
Only if George comes. Did he leave?
George right there.
I'm here.
Oh,
So you said
George
you
is a vendor and us. Thank you for your support.
If you're taking the sprinter van, I might hitch a ride.
I know.
So you said you've only done 6 transactions. Explain what that
Maybe a
means.
little bit more than that, but not that many. My wife and Wes, one joke, and Dan will tell you, she's really the rock star. She did 87 last year, which is nuts. But yeah, I knew I always wanted to have a business and I always wanted to have a team. And I don't have much patience when someone's like, oh, we're gonna look at 47 houses and maybe I didn't do a good buyer consultation and ask good questions. It's like, hey, we got 3 and let's move on, let's do this. And I just realized it wasn't gonna be a good buyer's agent. Also, I don't have patience for clients that are like, I'm not gonna lower my price. I'm like, if you wanna sell your house, what do we have? 1,089, I think is the number.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of opportunity for you. So I think just realizing, and I would just tell you one thing is know where you're going. And I think that's really important. I kind of heard Jay Papazon say that and I believe that. So I'll tell you where I think I'm going. My daughter will be 18 when I'm 58. So to me, that's where I'm going. I want to have enough passive income. If she does go to, this happens in life. Who's had a kid that's gone out of town for school, you know? My wife is brainwashing them like your daughter's gonna be the Razorbacks, you know? We should have done the Razorback cheer or something, you know? But if she ends up in Stanford or hair school in Miami, whatever it is, I'm gonna be in my Sprinter van and I'm gonna meet her for tailgates or do that thing. That's important to me. That's where I'm going. So if you don't do the work and activities and you don't have a big business now, you can't do that. So I have to have enough passive income.
When you got into real estate, you said Cody was not on board with it. How long did it take for her to get on board and be part of the team?
A really funny story is I said, you'd be great at real estate. And I had a friend of ours own the Weichert. Do you guys have Weichert here?
We don't.
Okay, it's another franchise, but in Arkansas, he was the owner and he brought this big presentation book and said, here's what we're gonna do in real estate. And she's like, I'm not ready yet, you know? So she was actually really gonna be in real estate originally. But I think 2 results, I think that's anything. And I think just tell people, that's one thing. If I look at some of the success that I've had, I tell everyone. I've told Dan probably 4,000 times, I want to be an owner market center. I want to be open. Now I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to be that anymore. But it's learnings, but I think tell a lot of people that. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But I think she realized too, and us, we have the God family business is so important. So yesterday we had our team meetings and everything. And my 10-year-old, my 6-year-old were there. We took them to lunch, we took them to Cold Stone, we're doing business, we're hanging out. I don't know if that's the best upbringing, but they're part of it. So whenever someone's recruiting to our team, I said, here's who we are. There might be a kid on an iPad hanging out or having Cold Stone, or maybe making you a drawing. So I think don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think she saw that and just said, you know what? Corporate America is not for her or us either. So last year we did a 12-day trip in our Sprinter van.
Yeah.
And a great tax write-off, just so you know, you can depreciate the whole thing in 1 year. If you haven't looked at a Sprinter van, tax 179. I know this is not wealth building, but
No,
I'll
this
leave
is
that.
great. Sprinkle it in, do your thing.
You know, your number 1 expense, and back to agent financials, there's only 50 people, I think we learned yesterday, right?
Yep, yep.
That signed up. Highly recommend. Right now, you're working so hard, you need to keep more money. And that's really important. And that's something I probably haven't done well, but your biggest expense is taxes. It's not your CRM, it's not your lead gen, it's taxes. So in 2020, I paid 56% in taxes. That hurt a lot. I had the wrong CPA, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
So we're fixing 2020 as we speak right now, but see, if you don't know how to ask good questions, or you know what questions to bring.
Yeah. So what is your mindset now within everything that you're doing? Because you're a little bit in every business. How do you manage it all?
Yeah, good question. And I might just tell you, so 9 companies today own a different portion of them. You know, Gary, actually, I heard him say this one time. He doesn't own really one business that he's not a partner in. How many people do you know that go, I don't really like partnerships? Me, for the most part, there's some that I'm maybe not crazy about. You know, you kind of work through those, though you learn. But to me, it gives you leverage. How many times have you guys heard that word? It really does. Dan and I are partners in a business, right? So two, I think, great minds, and maybe one of us. And you can actually make a business bigger, can't you? Because you have more scalability that I wouldn't have. I don't know anybody in Springfield. Well, Dan knows a lot of people. So how is our business double? So I think having the right people in those businesses.
Yeah.
So once I've been able to do that in the right business, if you guys haven't met Tom, I know he'll be here in a little bit. He is phenomenal. So I think once you get the right person in any company, that's kind of how it's helped.
Yeah.
I would say too is education. I'll kind of get through that a little bit. And I say class, just so you know, I want to pour into you guys. So I just have some things, some nuggets I'll throw at you. But I just think education.
Yeah.
So my first year, remember, I wasn't really licensed in the beginning. I got licensed, but I went to 13 trainings in my first year. And none of these were in my town. So I went to Expansion Summit, Kristen Coles in Arizona. I went to EOS in Austin. So I was just learning and learning. If you don't know, our company gives you Harvard of real estate. So it's just whether you take advantage. And I think it wasn't me. I just think I realized that I was like, wait a minute. And Adam Grady's going to tell me everything about his business and just throw up on me. And you would ask him all the time, how many times does he do that? And no one does anything. Dan, how many people have you coached or trained, say, here's how you do it? And maybe one person says, hey, can I come to your office and hang out? So I would challenge you guys to take advantage of those opportunities that I did. A lady from Springfield came down, spoke in our market center. And I think she was, she's 7th level and sold the company, but she was 80 million at that time. So it's 2017. And I said, hey, can I come shadow your office? She's like, yeah, I say that all the time. The next day I text her and I said, I'll be here as Thursday work. And I was there all day. Drove there, stayed in a hotel and just gobbled it all up.
You were here last year or the year before, weren't you, with your team?
A couple times,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you were
I'm
in the
always
office, yeah.
asking. Dan's like, don't come anymore.
So what's the mindset with your team? Changing market, doubling down on activities? What do those conversations look like?
Yeah, and you know, today condo class is about 100 million. I just think that's a magic number. I don't know if being transparent, I don't know if we're gonna hit that this year. That doesn't feel very good, just so you know. So I think about it too. 9 companies, I'm in different portions, I'm distracted. You know, what's the main focus? I really think if you're thinking about joint ventures or ancillaries, at the center does need to be your team and you need to go deeper. So I think I didn't have the right leaders there and just hired a guy. And we were on the call about Messy thing, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I would ask you guys, and I know, I think you said you 3 are partners, right? I saw that. See, he talked about you before you got here. And I know I saw you raise your hand for P&L reading. I like it, right? Did you P&L read? You?
Yes.
But think about this in your business. This is what we talked about on Monday, and I love this, and I'm starting to think about this. Who's the biggest real estate person, maybe in Missouri or the country? Springfield's an amazing place to live, isn't it, right? You have 4 seasons, you have good culture, lower crime. It's similar to Northwest Arkansas. There's a lot of people from, I don't know if you want them or not, but California, other places that would move here. Well, why not get a $500 million real estate person to partner with and move here? Have you thought about that? It's got me thinking differently. I mean, what's the fastest way to 500 million? Merge with another 500 million team. Have you ever thought about that before? Merging together, that's an option.
How many of you heard about Lionel Messi and the sports contract he turned down? Robert?
Yeah.
So Lionel Messi is a famous soccer player and he was offered a $1 billion contract to switch teams and essentially go with his team, and he turned it down. And so yesterday on a regional call we were a part of, it said, what kind of opportunity would have to present to you that you would say no to? Like, why would you say no to them, or what would make you say yes? And the reason Lionel said no to it is if he stayed on his team, he'll eventually have ownership in an MLS team. He will also have ownership in Adidas, and where Adidas, he will get stock out of Apple with whoever subscribes. And that is a vertical integration of his business. He can play soccer just like he's doing. And by doing that and being on the same team, he will eventually have ownership within a company. He'll wear Adidas anyway, so he'll start earning some more off of that. Any new people that subscribe to Apple to watch him, he'll get ownership in that. And so it was an interesting conversation, is what kind of opportunity has to present itself for you to say no or yes to? And what does that look like?
Turned down $1.8 billion. Think about that, because he's betting on himself. I think that's something to think about today. Are you betting on yourself? And know what you're really good at. And I think that's something I'm probably figuring out now, call it 7 years in, figuring out what I'm good at. What's my genius? What do I need to stop doing? I think in the beginning, try to do everything. And just so you know, you can't do it well. So I was okay with hiring a transaction coordinator day one. Still not, I'm an executive broker in Florida and Arkansas. Are they going to saying, hey, I want to review how you do a contract today? No, I was like, my TC does amazing. Let her do that. She's great.
So I want to open up questions to the floor of what questions you have for Mike. That way you'll kind of maybe get a little bit more interest for his class later on.
How many people's on your team? How do you have it set up?
Yeah, good. And you have 9 businesses. So I'm our OP of the Market Center. So there's 284 agents there. We do about 3,300 transactions. Last year, I think we did 880. We did $1 billion before that. So that's about where we play. On my current team, there's 15 agents. We have, what do we have? We have a director of ops, we have a TC, an LM. Last 2 years, I think we did 107 million last year. Year before that was about 124 million, mostly SOI. And that's something we'll talk about a little bit later. I think that's important too, is Sprint actually did a study, and I don't know if you guys saw this, 10% of their worst customers, and they said it a lot more cleaner, better than I'm gonna say it. But basically that would call with customer service complaints, maybe their bill wasn't right, maybe their card declined, they actually fired them. So think about this in a business. So they fired 10% of their customers and their profit went up by 30%. So in your business, I would say, and I battle this with my wife all the time too. She's like, I hate this customer, fire them. You got 87, my wife did 41 million last year, So think about that. That's a machine, right? But she can still work with clients she should never work with. And I'm like, our time is too valuable. Good question.
What other questions?
Yeah, and I'll tell you some of the other companies, and I brought one just to show you, kind of fun. I'm an inventor. And this is something too, if you have kids. So I thought of this idea called the Easy Sign. I know there's a couple around. I know Wes has one.
I won one at Bold in Arkansas.
Did you get it yet?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, well, you have to show it to him. What do you think about it?
I love it.
We needed to buy more, right? It didn't work very well then too. If we got him one, it's supposed to get it. But just so you know, it wasn't, obviously the dream is to make a lot of money doing that. But the one dream for me is having kids. How many people do you talk to, or even you, that say, every time I come up to someone, I thought of this idea 20 years ago. My mother-in-law she's like, she thought of the baby snap. She said that, in diapers where you change clothes, it snaps on the bottom. She's like, I thought of that idea 30 years ago, but they never did it. There's a rock star right there. They never did the idea. So I told my wife, I said, hey, this invention, I am gonna produce at minimum at least one, and I'm gonna sell one, and I'm gonna prove to our kids that you can do it. And I think that mindset back to it's important to do that. And that's what I love about, I guess, this, where we live, Springfield, Northwest Arkansas, is the opportunity to do that.
What was the invention?
It's called the Easy Sign, and we can send it to you. And this is the other one. We can pass it around. Keybox Keeper. So here's something you're gonna go, this is dumb. Is that okay in that language? But basically, you guys have Supras here? Yeah. So how many times do you hear a customer? Was that right?
Yeah, please do.
Hear a customer with a plastic thing bangs on their door and their door costs $6,000. So I said, you know what? Let's just put a koozie together and make a Supra cover. We call it Keybox Keeper. And then now let's let agents brand it. So we sell those for, I think, $14.99. And you put your own brand on it. So think about this. Back to the luxury. We can't wait to see that. That is next week, isn't it? Tomorrow is luxury. Make sure you guys are gonna be there. This is a luxury thing. So if you think about it, it's experience, everything that you do. So if you brought that on a listing appointment, how do you make yourself better? So you're like, hey, this is customer, this is how much our client, how much we care about you, is I'm gonna make sure that your door, your 6,000 door doesn't get beat up by the agents. So just thinking differently. So I'll tell you, I thought about that like on a Wednesday. My background with Walmart, I talked to my buddy and I said, hey, can we source this in China? He's like, let's ship a super lockbox to China and a koozie. And we got it back 7 days later. So that's another thing, is I move very fast. Now I fail very fast, but I just move on from it. I don't sit 7 days going, oh, I should have never done that. I forget about it. That's yesterday. So think about this. I want you to get your calculators. You're the P&L guy, right? Tom, I know you're a math guy.
Let's do it.
So there's 3.6 million Supras in the United States. Everyone feel good with that? So what if we sold, what do you think, 20%? And then I made $10 a unit. Quick math, what would that be?
720,000, right? So 7.2 million? Is that right?
No, so I'm gonna make $10 a unit. And we're gonna sell the 20% of 3.6 million. So 10% is 360, right? So it's 720.
720.
Yep, times $10. What's that? 7 million, right?
7.2 million.
So 7.2 million. Who made that last year in their business? So I mean, I have to do the activities, but just planting a seed, that an opportunity. And Gene Rivers told me, who loves Gene Rivers? I do. He's awesome. I love about him and Ben Kinney, for instance, example. It's simple, isn't it? And hopefully I bring that to you today too. We try to complicate this, don't we? I need 19 notifications zapping me to over here. I don't even know what Zapier is. I don't care, right? And they make it really simple. Gene told me if you're gonna start a business, at least have it make 250,000 or more, don't do it. So that's a lens that I have today. And no offense, I was gonna start a staging company and I had one for like 2 years. What'd I do? I said, you know what? I'm gonna win all these listing appointments because of this. No, I didn't. I didn't win any more than I would have. Because NAR says 76% of the time, the first person that goes wins the listing, if you didn't know. But I lost like $5,000 a month for 2 years. That's not fun. That's not a business. It didn't have an opportunity to make 250,000 because I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't like it. I just saw it as something I have to do, right?
Did you get a patent on that?
I do. So that's another thing. Is that a fun soundbite? Soundbite. When I meet with a developer or a hedge fund or a builder, I'm an inventor, I have 2 patents, right? So that's something I just weave in there. Now, did I elevate myself over somebody else? Is a hedge fund gonna wanna work with me? So one of the things, I don't do a lot of transactions, but some of them that I do right now is build for rent. So who's doing build for rent?
What?
Okay, if you don't know what that is, that's something you might wanna start thinking about. Would you rather make 500,000 on one transaction or 5,000? Which is bigger? So a hedge fund buys a whole neighborhood. It has to be the whole neighborhood from underwriting. And they're gonna buy every single house from a builder and you're done in one transaction. Who's doing that today? Okay, nice. So that's something to think about, isn't it? So are you on LinkedIn? You need to be looking at every hedge fund there is and talking to them. They're buying now, they're trying to spend because 8.25% doesn't work. They got a lot of cash and they're looking to put it in houses. Because can you buy multifamily here? Probably not. It's hard to find, isn't it? But can I build a whole neighborhood and create my own multifamily? Thinking differently. So the one I'm working on right now is 28 million. So do the math on that. Even if I make 2%, what's my commission? Where's my calculators? What's the commission on that?
560.
So one buyer, one builder. Is that builder gonna work with me from now on? Do I maybe exit strategy? What if the hedge fund needs to sell all the houses? Who's the list agent? Thinking differently, right?
Awesome.
Other questions?
Any other questions before we wrap up team meeting today?
So as a suggestion for the single agent that has nobody but themselves, is there a way to get to what you're just talking about as a single agent?
Can everyone hold their finger up like this real quick, a little pointer? Kind of point at the other person next to you. Point it to the side of your head. The only thing stopping you is this. Just so you know, your brain is a powerful machine. So a couple things you said in there too, right? So is there other single agents in here? Who else is a single agent? Look, half the room. You're actually a team. Could you organize a coffee? Is this room available all the time empty?
It is.
Could you organize a coffee and say, hey, how do we together go get a hedge fund? Does that cost any money?
No.
So thinking differently, the power of, this is why you're at Keller Williams, and I trust me, I take advantage of it all day, every day. Dan's, I'm in Gary's group. I post on there like 7 times a day sometimes, you know, and I'm asking questions, I'm asking help. 9 people will respond like that. So could you create your own? I want to buy a neighborhood with a hedge fund group. Does that cost any money? So I think it's just, here's the thing, and I'm gonna teach you this later too. I have the 24-hour rule. If I go to something like this, I pick 1 or 2 things, because I might say, hopefully I say like 9 good things. But if there's 2 things that resonate with you, do them in 24 hours. So right now, I'd add it on your calendar tomorrow or in the night, I'm gonna do this one thing. And then do that within 24 hours. So do you want to be the captain of the hedge fund buying club?
Oh, absolutely.
Who wants to join the club? When can we organize this? So luxury is what time? 11 to 12? How about 12 to 1 tomorrow? And George will bring pizza. He'll come because you know what? He wants the home warranties of every one of those houses. Is that a win for everybody? So this is another thing. That's another thing. Tom, do you want to give $1,000 credit to all those houses?
Yeah.
I just put together a package for you pretty easy. There was a couple other vendors that were in here. What else do we do? Another guy had, what was it, the best rate in town or something? So
Title companies,
Yep.
mortgage. Yep.
So who's the title company in here still?
Yeah.
Do you want, average neighborhood, I don't know what is it for you guys, say 136 homes. Do you want every one of those? Okay, do you want to come tomorrow, noon to 1? Vodka? Whatever you guys want, beer, pizza. So I would tell you that, thinking differently. Is that fair? So this is a really good time. We're halfway through the year. Have you guys done, and I do this about once a month, 30 minutes, not complicated. I look at my previous month. What did I do fun? What did I like? What didn't I like? What meetings I went to? Just so you know, most of my meetings are 15 minutes. Tom? We get a little bit longer every now and then, about 20.
Right.
But I get distracted several times, right? But we really try to stay focused. So I think that's something that's important. So it's canceling your meetings, 15 minutes. Who's doing hour-long meetings now? Please stop, right? Because here's what you do. You do 20 minutes in the beginning. What's your team? I know you like the Chiefs, Dan. So if you guys like the Chiefs,
Yes.
so you talk about who they drafted, how the Royals are doing. That's 20 minutes of your hour-long meeting, 4 meetings a day. Multiply that out. So if I'm just like, hey, we got 15 minutes, we down to business. Is that fair?
Thank you all so much for being here and thanks to Mike.
So we end every meeting with, what are your action items? Yeah, give a round of applause. What are your action items? What are you gonna do the next 24 hours?
Go to his class at 11.
Go to his class at 11. Right after book club at 10:30. Right. Be prepared for this. This is our slide for the end of everything from here on. We don't want to just teach you so you go, oh, that was good knowledge. I'm gonna turn my brain off now. We want you to come out and do something with these things. Okay, so book club at 10:30, Mike's class right here at 11, vodka and pizza tomorrow. All right, I think that's got everything.
I got one action item you just made me think of, and I know some people aren't gonna be here. One thing I would have done differently, I created my team called the Dooley Group. Just so you know, for me, that was a miss. And I didn't think about it because I didn't think about the end in mind. Is it easy for me to sell 7th level the Dooley Group?
No.
So just something I would challenge you if you're thinking about, because I know half the room was single agents. If you're thinking about a team, or you're calling yourself a team now, and I would as a single agent, just so you know, I started the Dooley Group by myself. I'm a team, we're our team. So I would just think about what your team name is really important to me as I start thinking about companies, as I start starting them. So I'm out of it if I need to sell part of it, because ego gets in the way for all of us, right? So just a tip.
So you wouldn't have your name and then you would have something else.
I would not, I'd have something else. It's not called Steve Jobs Computers.
Yeah.
That way you've been on a listening appointment, they'd be like, no, I want Mike. And it's like, no, I
Exactly.
don't have to be there.
Yep.
Cool, love that. Okay, awesome. See everybody next week for the real estate attorney, Megan Kassan.